Well, hi there and welcome to my tutorial on understanding the music of What a Wonderful World, a signature song by Louis Armstrong, although he did have a number of those. So let's just get right into it. We're in the key of F, and there are many introductions that I've heard that lead into the song. I like the introduction with the droning F, this pedal point against an F chord and a G minor chord, putting that G minor into a third inversion. And it sounds something like this. I think you recognize the sound. Most people, when I play this, knowing about to play What a Wonderful World. And my pickup, one chord, an F6, up to the 3 chord, A minor 7, up to primary movement, push forward, up to that 4 chord. Few chord changes are all going to be secondary, down to the 3 chord, down to the 2, down to the 1 chord, so there will be a bit of a pullback. Pull back, pull back, pull back. Now we have energizing A7 coming in here. A7 would be the 5 of D minor, the 6th chord. And you can see I used an E in the bass simply to take the root of the 1 chord to the root of the 6th chord. And onto the 6th chord. Then the composer says, well, let's just continue on down. Let's go to a flat 6th chord. So a D flat 7, D flat 9 in this case. And the logical move, since it's be a chromatic move, it's got to head down to the C 5 chord. So the bass work there is very interesting. We walk down, it's a beautiful bass walk down from the 4 chord with the root of the 3 to the 2, passing 5th on the A7, going to the 6th chord, falling down to the flat 6 and onto the 5 and back to the 1 chord. Now I do a little bit of a different thing here. Let's see if you like it or not. When I'm going to the D flat chord, it's supposed to be a dominant chord. I like changing that to a major 7 passive, then letting it go to the dominant 7. And instead of going directly to the C, which I have to do, I kind of like to get that subdominant dominant, the 2 to the 5. Well, how can I go from a D flat to a G? Actually, quite simply, because it's the distance of 3 whole tones, which means the distance of a tritone. We're talking about equal division of the octave, and it works quite nicely. Then my obligation to get to the C bass and onto the 1 chord. Stays on the 1 chord, goes to first inversion of an F augmented, which steps up to the B flat chord, acting as a substitute for the 2 chord, the subdominant function, taking me to the 5 chord, the C7, and into the 2nd verse. Let's take a look at the turnaround as we come out of the 2nd verse and set up the bridge. I go back to that pedal point I did for the introduction. Again, continuity of that throughout the whole song, at least from my point of view. So we go. Here we have the 1 chord, the G minor over the F, still G minor over the F. As we move into the bridge, it's just a simple 2, 5, 1, G minor, C7 to the F. G minor 7. And here we have a suspension the composer wrote in. You can hear the tension there, but at least he resolves it. The 6th chord, and back to the 2 chord. suspension. minor, up to the 3 chord secondary movement. You'll feel a pullback, push forward, primary D minor, 6 chord, 3 chord pullback, back to the 6 chord. And here's where they use an F sharp diminished. Is a 7 of the 2 chord tonicization again. Two to 5, and back into the song. I like to do something a little bit different. I know that the F sharp diminished chord, I can use any note I want in the bass that's part of the chord, because it's an equal division of the octave. The obvious one is the F sharp, because that's going to take me to where I want to go, the G minor. But I could use the E flat and call it a D sharp, which would then take me to the F sharp. That's through the diminished flavor, and then up to the 2 chord. I'm going to just walk it up through the 3 chord to the 4 chord and to the 5 chord. Give it a listen, see what you think. I'll take it from the last half of the bridge. So we have the 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 subdominant, setting up the 5 chord, and into the last verse. Let's look at the coda of the last verse. It's kind of nice. It's a nice way of finishing a song. Here's my 1 chord going to a flat 7 chord and onto a D9 in this case. Tonicization, the 5 of the 2 chord, and the arranger usually just has the 2 going to the 5 into the 1. And then to the end of the song. I like to get that walk up in if I can, so let's take it from there. Here's my 5 of the 2 chord, 2, 1 first inversion, up to the 4 chord, 5, I think I'll flatten the 9 here. Oh, that sounds nice. And into the tonic 1 chord. I'm going to follow through with the pedal point that I've done throughout the whole song. And into the ending of the song. Now what I'd like to do is play the last verse and into the coda and have a few closing remarks, but I want you to just sit back and relax and see if you can hear the changes that I've been talking about throughout this tutorial. Okay, here we go with the pickup notes into the last verse in coda. Well, here we are at the end of another tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun doing it. Please don't forget to subscribe and have yourself a great day, and hey, we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.